Hi, I'm Dr. Khurrum Shaukat Yusafzai. Today's video is about the use of hyperbaric medicine in space. So let's begin. The space missions manned by the humans have certain medical problems. These medical problems are researched and solutions are found on daily basis through space missions. The space missions are divided into LEO and HEO. LEO missions are around 2,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and the HEO missions are more than 2,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface and beyond. The humans use spacesuits, and the spacesuits let them adapt to the harsh environment in the empty space. The spacesuits have been developed since the 60s, and now new designs are being searched so that improvements are made. These spacesuits enable the man to survive. These spacesuits are actually having so much technology that it keeps the persons cool from the heat and the radiation, and also protected from the harmful radiation to penetrate the skin. So new research is also being made into new kind of space stations, not like the current one. So now I have told you about the use of hyperbaric medicine in the low Earth orbit. The low Earth orbit is around 2,000 kilometers high from the surface of the Earth. Low Earth orbit missions below 2,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. The effects of the space is well known because of the countless hundreds of space missions performed. The medical issues are known, and the shift in the fluids, the radiation, and the reduced immune response, increased protein turnover, and the space motion sickness is well known. The microgravity causes this fluid shift and like stone formations in the kidneys, radiation, isolation, confinement, circadian rhythm disruption, impaired sleep quality, and hypercapnia. So they're divided into non-emergency and emergency ailments. For the non-emergency ones, medications are available and certain treatments. For the emergency ones, evacuation has to be considered because they can be fatal, and many such things have occurred on the space station. These are the events for the United States of America Space Shuttle program. Half of the disease which was there, 42%, was space adaptation syndrome, then nervous system problems, digestive system problems, skin and subcutaneous tissue problem, injuries or trauma, musculoskeletal system and connective tissue, respiratory system, behavioral, infectious disease, genitourinary system, circulatory system, and endocrine system. These were affected in the order as I spoke. So as you can see that the CNS system and the space adaptation system is 42 and 17% is the highest, followed by the digestive system problems. The Russian space program also had similar results, although they give almost the same things, but They also uh, their data was a bit different form, and the headaches, the skin disease, and the rest of the stuff was similar to the American program. So these 304 medical events that happened between uh, 1987 to 1998 were almost similar for the low Earth orbit events. So as you can see, there's a lot of research that happened, and it explains what really happens in space. That um, first of all, the astronaut is hit with the space adaptation syndrome, like the motion sickness with vomiting and nausea and uh, diarrhea as well. And after some time, he becomes all right. Then there is shift in the bodily fluids, especially in the brain, that affects the central nervous system. The ventricles are enlarged, and the fluid shift. The fluid shift also hits the kidneys because of the dehydration. There are renal stones in the astronauts. The muscles and the bones, they lose their density because of the microgravity. And furthermore, the vision is affected, along with dermatitis infection of the skin, as well as the whole body. Like sometimes the immune system is low and the person falls sick because of the microgravity. And the astronauts have to deal with certain bacteria which have become resistant to the antibiotics, and certain very dangerous strains have been identified. So these problems do continue in the space, and when the astronaut come back to the Earth, he's also affected by the same kind of loss of balance, great fatigue, muscular pain, and a kind of a motion sickness with nausea, vomiting. So these kind of things is called the Earth return syndrome, and most of the astronauts are hit. They are hospitalized mostly. If you go out from the low Earth orbit to the high Earth orbit, which is beyond 200 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, and continue up into space, the effects of the space becomes more prominent. So I will discuss one by one these effects, and also tell you about the adventure which we are doing while going towards the moon and the Mars through NASA, the National Aeronautical and Space Agency of the United States of America, and the SpaceX of Elon Musk. In the HEO, High Earth Orbit missions, which is 2,000 kilometers beyond, another set of medical problems occurs because the protective phenomena of the Earth atmosphere and the magnetic field around the Earth protects the human body. So if you go out of high Earth orbit, then you are out of the protection of this, and new set of medical problem occurs. This has been happening because new and powerful rockets are here, which take the human beings further away from the Earth, and they are capable of carrying the mankind to Mars and the moon, which is in sight. And private space travel like SpaceX is also in the race. SpaceX belongs to Elon Musk, and he has aimed for the Mars, and he wants to go to the red planet before NASA and before the other superpowers in the race. So in 10 years, he wants to be there with his spacecraft. The Artemis mission to the moon and also to the Mars would be NASA's dream to go to the high Earth orbit or beyond, like to colonize the Mars for the humans. So very soon there would be a new planet for the human beings, and there would be a colony there soon. So we would have a new planet, maybe new planets. That's a possibility because new planet has been discovered which is very similar to the Earth. The new spaceships like the one by the private sector and the government sector are becoming reality, and we are seeing them. And with these new spaceships, the problems of the colonies and the high Earth HEO orbit and the beyond has surfaced, and new research is happening at a rapid pace to enable the humans to survive this space travel while bombarded with radiation and the hazards, the new hazards which has been identified with this new mode of travel is space radiation, isolation and confinement with behavioral changes, and the distance from Earth where the possibility of medical care become less because of the distance from the Earth, and the gravity fields, the microgravity has affected the humans, so there has to be some solution to this. And the closed environment is hostile to the human beings, so solutions have to be found, and the medical research on the humans are continuing in NASA, in the labs and the laboratories and in the space stations at rapid pace. So very soon we are going to see a lot of new solutions, and we are seeing them currently. These would enable the humans to travel in the hazards of space radiation that can change the DNA and cause cancer, and it also changes the nervous system. So in order to avoid that, there has to be certain solution like the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which has healing power beyond limits, providing powerful anti-inflammatory effect, enhanced oxygen delivery to tissue, accelerating the body natural healing processes and simulating stem cells production, and mitochondrial function is 300%. So it has healed many diseases, and it will heal the effects of radiation, cancer, and degradation of the DNA would be tackled with this revolutionary treatment, which is healing people on the Earth, would also heal the people in the spacecraft and in the colonies in the Mars and in the Mars and in the new planet. So that's revolutionary. Hyperbaric medicine is the technology of the future, and it would be here with the humans. And new research articles have been published in Medline, PubMed, EMBase, Cochrane databases, and the results of the studies of the hyperbaric oxygen therapy has been marvelous and has been great. So although it is used to treat DCI in the space and in the Earth, in the sea and the space and the air, but it is also treating the diseases in the space as well. So this would be new for the people who are watching my video, but the researches are already done, and they have provided conclusion that this is very effective in treating the diseases I just mentioned, which are occurring in the LEO and HEO, like near Earth and beyond Earth space travel. So the space station would be carrying a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and a new patent was released in November 2001. This patent of this new revolutionary hyperbaric chamber, which will be carried in the space stations and the spacecrafts. As you can see, it has two parts, two portions, and there are seals and there are doors, and it's lightweight, of course, because the payload is a big issue in the spacecraft. This is the patent number. This is how it looks. It's been now 24 years that the patent has been produced, and as you can see, the hyperbaric chamber can be carried into the ISS space station, and it could be carried into any space station of the future. Maybe the space station can also be converted into a hyperbaric chamber. As you can see that the features of this is lightweight, strong, reliable, can perform hyperbaric therapies in space, simple to use and comfortable, and its application is in DCI to DNA damage to cancer, circadian rhythm and biological rhythm problems, treat resistant infections, inflammations, and increase healing and immune system. So that's a lot of problems of the space has been covered by hyperbaric chamber. Bravo. So that's amazing, and that's something revolutionary which you would never have heard before. And I'm bringing this marvelous video for you to explain the uses of hyperbaric chamber in the space. So if it has to be used in the space, it can also be used on the Earth. And this is the time that people should recognize. Now, maybe you have not heard that space suits can also be used as a hyperbaric chamber. Like, for example, if you are in a space or a spacecraft or a space station and you don't have a hyperbaric chamber, we can convert the space suit into a hyperbaric chamber. So these are the spacewalkers for June, July 2024. They were supposed to go out, but they had to repair something in the space station. But I think they had DCI, decompression sickness, or the spacesuits had some malfunction or some leakage occurred. The spacesuits can be pressurized and can act like a hyperbaric chamber. So this is something new. So if an astronaut has a DCI, like a decompression illness, the hyperbaric chamber is not available, the suits would be converted into a hyperbaric chamber, and you can give hyperbaric therapy remotely while the hyperbaric doctor is on Earth and he is linked to the space station. He can perform hyperbaric therapy in the space on the astronaut. So what is DCI? DCI is actually a nitrogen bubble is formed in the blood because of the change in pressure, which can change the solubility of the nitrogen, which is inert gas, and that can be dangerous. So if you can use the hyperbaric chamber in space for that guy, he will not have to be brought back to Earth for the treatment, which is the current SOP. Like when this July spacewalk happened, there was a doctor there in US stuck in traffic somewhere. She was trying to perform the treatment on the astronaut. Later on, NASA claimed that it was a training or something like that, and they hit the news, and there was like a controversy, although the social media was saying that DCI or some emergency had happened, but it was later denied in the news articles. So you can save like $50 million if you have a hyperbaric chamber in space and the astronauts would be treated in the space. That's pretty interesting. And what is really DCI? It's governed by the Henry's law that nitrogen bubbles are formed when the solubility is decreased suddenly the soluble nitrogen in the blood would convert into insoluble one and it will form bubbles. So the treatment is hyperbaric chamber. So in conclusion, this technology has a long way to go and it would be here and it's revolutionary. And I hope you would have understood how many problems it has solved of space and how many problems it has solved of the earth. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you like my video, you subscribe to my channel to get such wonderful videos, and I hope to see you soon. Take care and goodbye.